What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As always, a huge thanks for coming back. We really appreciate you. So, as you can see, today we are starting the day with a little bit of a fab project. We have been knitting some axle stands for whenever we do projects like Dirty Girl, where we have to mock up axles at ride height. And that's what these stands are going to give us the ability to do. We'll basically be able to mock up, say, like on Dirty Girl, we're going to be running a 30-inch tire. So these axle stands should allow us to get pretty close to that measurement and just make it easier to visualize where everything needs to go. Man, I haven't been doing fab projects like this in a while, but it's definitely fun. I enjoyed putting stuff together and welding it. Hadn't done it in a bit, so definitely had a little bit of fun with that welder. Also, let me know what you think about doing voiceovers like this. I haven't really ever done anything like that, but I've been wanting to give it a shot, and we finally got a little microphone, so let me know what you think. Okay, guys, and just like that, we have the first set, well, the first of the set of axle stands done, and these things came out freaking stout. I'm actually pretty happy with the design of these things. We made them basically double walled, so to make them, extra strong, you've got this wall in the front, one in the back, and then we've got this big gussets on either side, and then obviously we got this big base plate. As you can see, we have plenty of holes. That's going to be for some casters that I ordered. I got the bolt pattern off of the Amazon listing, so hopefully it's right. They're also supposed to be some really heavy duty casters. They're basically the same style of caster, but the bigger version, that is. They're rated for 6,000 pounds per set of 4. So between the two sets of axle stands, they should be good for about 12,000 pounds, a little bit more. And another cool feature of this is that this center section that actually bolts to the axle, it's completely removable. So say that we're working on a truck that doesn't have the 8 on 6.5 or 8 on 170 pattern that we have here. So basically an OBS or a Chevy axle or a Super Duty axle. So maybe we're working on a F-150 OBS with a 5 on 5.5 bolt pattern. All I gotta do is cut a new one of these with that bolt pattern, and we could basically reuse this jack stands and then just switch this plate out. So I don't know, I think they're pretty cool. And we've got the BDD logo. It's kind of hard to see because both plates have it. I probably should have done just one, but like I said, pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead, knock the other one out, and then we'll go ahead and mock everything up on Dirty Girl, start working on getting the rear of it finished. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, guys, so hopefully you don't hear that grinding noise too much. The neighbors are working again, obviously, but as you can see, we've got both stands done, and all we got to do now is put them on the actual axle. So these axles are actually pretty heavy, so I bought something to be able to move stuff like this a little bit easier. And no, it's not that. I got myself a little baby come along. This thing is so freaking cute. It's a 1/4 inch come along, so it's super tiny. Being an iron worker, I'm used to dealing with the huge freaking come along, so that thing is pretty cool, and I think it should be pretty handy to be able to move stuff like this. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and get the come along on the frame, and then strap it to the axle, lift it up one side at a time, so we can put the axle stands. Now, I do know that I could move this out and then lift the axle with the forklift and then put it on the stands. But the thing that is that since it doesn't have the casters yet, I wouldn't be able to move it back under the truck. So that's why we're doing it this way. Plus, I mean, that's why I bought this thing. So, let's put it to good use. One of the things that are going to be definitely kind of interesting about this build is getting the proper offset. I believe this frame is quite a bit narrower than even say an OBS frame. So all of these hangers have to be even further out than they already are. Not gonna lie, this thing's struggling with this axle, which I guess it makes sense
quarter pound is what, 500? Quarter ton is 500 pounds. So it's right about maxed out with this thing. Okay guys, so we got the stands fully built and we actually have the casters on this thing. So it's the next morning. They came in last night, so we threw everything together and these things are freaking awesome. I absolutely love them. Those casters are way bigger than I thought they were gonna be. Like these things are pretty massive. And like I said, each stand with those casters is good for about 6,600 pounds. So like on the axle right now, you could have what, 13,200 pounds. My math is right. So they are definitely overbuilt, which is kind of what I want if I'm gonna be, working under a truck. Kind of like those jack stands that we built. I built them as I designed them, and we built them as stout as I could. Yeah, this probably sounds really bad. Chairman's going at it welding. We are trying our hardest right now to try and finish all the orders before Christmas. Like that is our goal, but we have very little time left. So I think we're like on the second day of the sale as far as orders, or maybe on Sunday. I think we're on Sunday's orders right now. And like I said, we are working our hardest to get everything done. We have my dad's actually coming later today to start packaging all the orders and help me out with that, because we obviously have to finish this truck, get all the orders out. So we're working our hardest at it. But anyways, like I said, back to these things. Again, I'm really happy with them. I ended up making them too tall. I don't know where my math failed, but I think I kind of underestimated how tall those casters were going to be. So I think the smallest tire these things can simulate is about a 33, which, I mean, who wants to run a smaller tire than that anyway? So I think it'll be fine. And then the cool thing about these casters is that they're also leveling casters. So they have this cool mechanism where if you unscrew or screw these things, let me see if I can get a better view of it. There we go. So that foot comes down and then it'll lift the wheel off the floor. Like that. So now the caster is locked in place, and then if you gotta level it, you have, I don't know, maybe like about half an inch or so to play with. So definitely pretty cool. Like I said, these things are definitely beefy. I probably honestly should have gotten the next size down. These are the 3-inch model of the casters. So they have the 3-inch, and then I think they have a 2.5, 2-inch, an inch and a half. I probably should have been fine with the 2-inch if I'm being honest with you, but like I said, these are definitely super beefy, and then they roll super easy and nice. One thing that I do like about these being the bigger one is that they have the biggest tire that they caster, I guess, that they offer. So it'll roll over like these joints and stuff like that a little bit easier. It's still a really small wheel, but it'll roll easier than the smaller casters, because as you get smaller and smaller with the caster, the wheel gets smaller and smaller. Like I said, that's a 3-inch wheel, I believe. And then the next size down would have been a 2.5 and then a 2-inch. Okay, so now that we have everything, so now that we have the axle stands done and all that, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the hangers off of this thing so that we can start mucking up the leaf springs and see how everything's gonna look. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. The rear ones should be pretty easy. All it is just bolts. The front ones are rivets, of course. So yeah, these are going to be a little bit more fun to remove. Luckily we have an air hammer, so we should be able to get these things out pretty easy. But anyways, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get all of this stuff out of the way, and then maybe clean the frame a little bit too. So yeah.
Okay guys, so I want to show you the quickest and best way that I found to remove rivets off the frame of the truck, and that's going to be using an air hammer. Yeah, I got this particular one from Harbor Freight, and it's been amazing. I know that not everybody has an air hammer or a compressor at their garage, at their shop, but if you have the opportunity to do so, grab one and grab one of these hammers. So as you can see, the best way that I found to do this is by taking the chisel bit and essentially cutting the head off the rivet off. Once we have the head off, we switch to the punch bit on the air hammer and punch the body of the rivet out. And like this is one, like I said, the fastest and definitely the most fun way to remove rivets. If you've ever have had to remove rivets off of a frame, you'll know that it's an absolute pain. What I was doing before was cutting an X onto the head of the rivet and then cutting that off. But I tried just cutting it off as is with the head, and it still took it off no problem. So that's what I've been doing ever since, just leaving the head on, cutting it off with the chisel, and it comes right out. Again, definitely a well worth investment to pick up one of these air hammers if you're going to be doing the axle swap. Okay, guys, so I kind of wanted to show you this real quick. As you can see, if you saw one of our previous videos, we scanned the frame on Dirty Girl, and it's basically what I'm using to build off for the hangers on this swap. And I made this is basically gonna be more of a mock-up sort of hanger, because this is a completely custom install, and I want to be able to make sure that the axle is fully centered once all of the weight is back on this truck. And I also want to see exactly how much the leaf spring is gonna flatten out, because as you'll see here in a little bit, that's a big old leaf spring we got for this truck. So that's the reason why we made this hanger with so many holes. And it's, like I said, it's just more, I guess, a prototype, we could call it, to try and find, one, to be sure that these holes will line up, that the model was accurate, and try and find the ideal placement for this leaf. So what I'll be doing today is cutting out these parts, slapping them together real quick, and then figuring out a real rear shackle and hanger situation. And like I said, go from there, put some weight on the truck, and see how it sits. As you can see, we're actually gonna bring the mounting point way up on this hanger, and then on the rear, we're gonna have to move this hanger like way back over here, and then we're gonna go from that compression shackle that we had, so basically a shackle flip, to a regular tension shackle, to where the hanger is actually gonna be down here, and the shackle will be up here like this. Obviously, I'll show you guys all of that as we get going. But that's the plan basically for this thing, and hopefully we'll be able to show you at least this part today. That's my goal. So this video is probably going to post a little bit late today because it's already Sunday. But I think we can at least get these things mocked up and thrown on the truck and see how that's going to work out, and then we'll start working on the rear hanger. We have been working super hard to try and keep up with all the orders, and also on this project, because it's really important for me to be able to get this project out. Hey, I don't want to leave any customers hanging, especially someone that's my buddy. And then I also have a few other projects. So we actually have some help in today. My dad came in. He's gonna be doing a lot of the stuff that I was doing out at the shop, like packaging, cleaning parts, all of that. Basically, all I gotta do now is just go and cut and bend things. My dad will clean them, package them. Sherman is gonna obviously do his thing, lay down the dimes, and like I said, we'll just keep pushing, guys. The goal for the orders is to try and have everything out by the 22nd. At least 90% of the orders, we want to have them out by the 22nd. So we're gonna be really cranking at it, and getting all this done. We also want to have this whole back end of the truck done before then, so we can start moving on to the front. We still don't have the coilovers or the shocks. They should have been in by now, but unfortunately they're still not in. But like I said, we can definitely get the hangers made and get all of that situated. So yeah. Okay, guys, this table, for being basically the most entry level table that there is on the market, has been one of the best purchases that I've ever done in my life. Now, that being said, we are looking forward to upgrading this thing big time next year, and you guys will see what's coming. I'm super excited for that.
Okay, guys, so unfortunately, I'm not going to get as much done with this truck in this video as I wanted to, but we at least have, like I said, kind of like the prototype front hanger, and this thing's probably gonna end up looking way different. But as you can see, like these springs are massive, and from like the calculations that I've been doing, they should flying out about 4 or 5 inches. So that's kind of what I'm hoping happens once we get weight on this thing. If not, we're gonna have to refigure out where we're gonna position them on the actual frame over here. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. But again, like I said, this is kind of, what I'm thinking for now, to be able to just at least test everything out and see where it's going to sit. As you can see, we have a whole bunch of holes to be able to just really dial this thing in. And the plan is, like I said, put the the truck on the hangers. We also got to do the rear ones, and take the jack stands off of it, and then put a few 100 pounds of weight on the end of this thing to kind of simulate the bed being on it, and just see where it sits at. Because if I try to do kind of like the final product or whatever, and go and put it together, I can almost guarantee you that it's going to be off. So I think the best way to do this is, slap something together like this, test it out, and see where it wants to sit. And then once we have that measurement, we can, rearrange everything. So, that is the plan. And I really wanted to finish that in this video, but I still have to completely edit this whole video before I post it. So that's going to be it in this video. If you guys enjoyed it or have any questions whatsoever, leave a like, leave any questions down below, leave any comments. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'm probably not going to see you guys until, no, I'll see you before Christmas, hopefully. And if I don't, Merry Christmas, guys. And again, don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you.